story is that Oprah got her name because she was named after Orpah in the Bible, and there was a misspelling on the birth certificate. So she could have been the Orpah Show instead of Oprah. So in this story, there's a lot of moving around, and I thought about how many times I've moved. I've moved a lot. Perhaps some of you have too. In college, I moved 4 times. In seminary, which is only 3 years, I lived in 5 different places. And then I moved to Washington, D.C., and a year later moved to Cleveland, where I lived in 5 different homes. 3 of all these were parsonages. And then to Denver, and we lived for a year in Stapleton in an apartment. And then finally, I lived in the first place where I ever paid a mortgage instead of rent. But you should have seen my mother's address book. Lots of things crossed out, page after page. Every move for me was usually a new opportunity, something different, and often something better. So I don't know what it's like to move because the landlord kicked me out, or because I couldn't pay rent. Many of us remember Guy Harris, and he told about when he joined the Army, he had to provide a list of addresses for every place he had ever lived. And by the age of 18, he had lived in 29 different homes, often because he was awakened in the middle of the night by his parents who said they couldn't pay the rent again. And they moved once again. So I don't know what it's like to move because war has broken out, or because famine has descended on the land. I don't know, I can't imagine what desperation it would take to get into a crowded boat to cross the sea, or join a caravan and walk 1,000 miles to a place of which all I know is perhaps maybe it will be safer. I can empathize, but I can't know, and maybe some of you do. And certainly some of our parents or grandparents or some of our family ancestors know. That's why some of us are here. They left their homelands to escape war and poverty, seeking opportunity, arriving on ships that passed by the Statue of Liberty back when the United States welcomed immigrants and proclaimed, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me." So all of this is to say that I don't know what it would have taken for Elimelech and Naomi. But it couldn't have been easy to decide, to conclude that they had to move from their home in Bethlehem of Judah to Moab. Moab, of all places. But more on that later. So irony drives the story of Ruth. Names provide clues. For example, Bethlehem, which means in Hebrew, house of bread, had no bread. Elimelech, which means my God is king, believed God would provide, but all God provided was famine, no bread. Naomi means sweet and pleasant, but later in the story she asked to be called Mara, which means bitter. And understandably, sweet Naomi's husband died after they had moved to Moab. She still had 2 sons, and they grew up and they married local girls, Moabite girls. But then her oldest son died before he had children, and then her other son died before he had children. And now Naomi was a childless widow living in a foreign land with 2 other childless widows as daughters-in-law. Bitter would have been a good name for Naomi. And so she decided to move back to Bethlehem, hoping things might be better. And Ruth and Orpah offered to go with her. Now, as an aside, I'm not sure why Ruth and Orpah married Naomi's sons in the first place. Their names should have tipped them off. Ruth's husband was named Sickly. Orpah's husband's name was Kaput. Kaput, it's over, just like their luck. But there was one piece of good luck for Naomi, because one of her daughters-in-law was named Ruth. And a name which means friend. The key to understanding the story is that it's often overlooked, easy to overlook among all these obscure, who cares, names in the Bible. This name is important to know, and that's Moab. The people of Moab were hated with as deep a passion as you can imagine. Imagine going to a Trump rally and hearing the name Maxine Waters or Hillary Clinton. Or at a women's march hearing the name Trump. I mean, just saying the word Moab would cause that kind of reaction. And this rift started when the Moabites refused, or allegedly refused, to provide hospitality to the escaping Hebrew slaves. In response, the book of Deuteronomy states that no Moabite shall be allowed to enter the Lord's assembly for 10 generations. And if that's not clear enough, the book of Deuteronomy states, you shall never promote the welfare or prosperity of Moabites as long as you live. And if that's not clear enough, their opinion of these people was so low that when Lot's son was conceived as a result of incest, they named him Moab. You got it? This is what they thought of these people. Now, I'm not sure that Moabites call themselves Moabites. I don't know, but that's what they were called in Israel and Judah. And upon hearing this story, every listener would have known to feel that revulsion in their stomach of incest. They moved to Moab? Ruth was from Moab? Lock her up. So that's how desperate Naomi and Elimelech would have been to move there. But on the flip side, so imagine how much hatred Ruth could have anticipated by moving to Bethlehem with Naomi. Imagine Maxine Waters moving in next door to David Duke. Neither one of them might have liked it much, but it would have been pretty dangerous for Maxine. Even so, Ruth and Orpah both offered to go back with Naomi. Now, Naomi convinced Orpah to go back to her family, but Ruth wouldn't budge. Because after all, her name was friend. And then Ruth told Naomi words of such absolute, lifelong fidelity that they're often repeated at wedding ceremonies without knowing the context. Daughter-in-law to mother-in-law. You maybe have been at a wedding, maybe even had at your own wedding these words. Wherever you go, I will go. Your people are my people. Your God will be my God. Where you are buried, I will be buried. Ruth was more concerned for the well-being of her friend than her own. That's love. Doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of love going around these days. Friendships end because of irreconcilable views. Family relationships strained by political differences. With hate on the rise. True and genuine love sometimes seems rare. Or maybe it's just that hate is being exposed, but still, does it really matter? That hate has motivated people to kill. 11 Jews worshiping at the Tree of Life. 2 African Americans shot outside a Kroger because the black church next door was locked. 14, hopefully only 14, pipe bombs sent to former presidents and high-profile critics. And that's just 2 weeks. And yet, instead of toning down the rhetoric, it's toned up. Because fear-mongering is a better winning strategy. And the temptation then is to all of us ratchet it up. We got to match, right? To match hate with hate. Or say nothing. And more today, what else is there to say? And yet, whenever I'm tempted, or whenever we ask, what can we do? Can't forget the words of Martin Luther King Jr. Hate does not drive out hate. Only love can do that. Amen. And yet, what is love? Michael Curry is the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, and he was made famous as the preacher at the royal wedding of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, where he gave an electrifying sermon on the power of love. Well, he was on the Today Show this week, promoting a new book. As he talked, Savannah and Hoda sat mesmerized. And I did too. His words were so simple, but it was so filling. It was like we're all starving for love. And I've been working on this sermon about Ruth, and his words seemed like they were just literally tailor-made for today. He said, love is about unselfish, selfless living that seeks the good, the welfare, and well-being of others, even above my own self-interest. It was like he was describing Ruth, adding that selfless living is the only thing that has ever changed anything for the good. And then, as though he was speaking about All Saints' Day, he said to Savannah and Hoda, think about yourself. Who are the people who've made a difference in your life? They made a difference not because they were doing it for themselves, but they were doing it for you. It was for you, not for themselves. I want to say that again. Who are the people who made a difference in your life? They made a difference, not because they were doing it for themselves. And then he said, think of any social change in history. It has been people who have been thinking about more than self, who have been thinking of others. The truth is, no good created and done by human beings has ever been done from the motivation of selfishness. That's it. Good has always been selfless and self-giving. That's what love really is. I felt like I was sitting in church, just feeling fed by the Today Show. And then he described the opposite of love. It isn't hate, he said, and I've heard that before. I've even said it myself. The standard answer isn't hate is the opposite of love. The opposite of love is fear, but no, Bishop Curry said, the opposite of love isn't fear either. The opposite of love is self-centeredness. Hate is a derivative of that. If love is self-giving, the opposite is self-centeredness. I wonder if that's why our country feels so off track right now. We're being led by a narcissist in chief who ratchets up any fear he can to make people deathly afraid of losing what is rightfully theirs. But really, here's the trick. The whole time, all he's trying to do is line his own pocket and feed his own desperate ego. Now, Bishop Curry didn't go into all of that. He simply pointed out that self-centeredness doesn't work. If we lived a self-centered existence, we wouldn't have a society. Democracy depends on that. Human survival depends on that. Life on this planet depends on our capacity to be unselfish, to be selfless and giving. Savannah, Hoda, and I all sat speechless. I knew they were trying to figure out what to say in response, just trying to really take it in, sit with it, reflect on what it feels like to live in an era devoid of love. They even asked, will love really win? Especially for people like Elimelech and Naomi. Except that it isn't. We are, in fact, we are living in an era overflowing with love. Every act of your resistance is an act of love because it is being done for someone else. Are all the things you're doing out in the world for yourself, or are they for someone else? Someone you may not even know. When hate makes the news, love is what happens next. The Islamic Center of Pittsburgh pledged to provide funds for funerals for the 11 victims of the synagogue's shooter. And their initial goal of $25,000 was reached immediately. And on Friday, it stood at $230,000 from over 5,600 individual donations. An Iranian student at Arizona State launched a similar campaign that is now at $1.1 million from 17,000 individual donations. That's overflow of love. One might even say, given the source, of all people, Moabite, of all people, an Iranian, given the source, it's that kind of ironic love we celebrate in the book of Ruth. Voting or helping people to vote or ensuring one's right to vote is an act of love because its purpose is to seek the common good, not selfish purposes. Maybe all the voter suppression going on in Georgia and North Dakota and Dodge City, Kansas, isn't about hate, just people being selfish. But that's no way to build community or ensure human survival or life at all on this planet. And so on this All Saints' Day, I invite our reflection upon people who have gone before us, whose lives were marked by this kind of love for humankind. Who in your life embodied or embodies the truth that love is about unselfish, selfless living that seeks the good, the welfare, and well-being of others, even above our own self-interest. They are our role models, demonstrating the meaning of love. The opposite of which isn't hate or even fear. The opposite of love is me, me, me. Or another way, the opposite of love is nationalism. So think of all the people who made a difference in your life by their self-giving. People who were or are friends like Ruth. They can help guide us through these days. I also invite us to remember today people like Naomi and Elimelech, whose very survival meant having to cross a border into places like Moab. Moab, of all places. And as well, I invite us to remember the people of Bethlehem, who welcomed Ruth and draw inspiration from them. The people of Bethlehem had to ignore a direct order from Deuteronomy never to promote the welfare of a Moabite. They welcomed this Moabite woman in, and of all the great ironies of her story, full of irony, how Ruth became the great-grandmother of Israel's greatest king. The greatest irony, of course, great King David. And that under great King David, great-grandmother of Moab, Israel was never more prosperous because they welcomed in their enemy, whose name was friend. What is love? What might we